So as I look around this room, I see some people who I know very well, and I see others I don't know that well. So what I want to do is start from the beginning, give you a little bit of an idea of who I am, where I come from, and what my experience is. I was raised by a single mother. She was a single working mother, and she raised 2 daughters in the 1950s by herself. She was a store clerk behind a cash register, which is part of your experience. And she worked her way, I watched her work her way up from being a cashier to being in the executive suite of a large toy company. And I think from her, I really learned about hard work and what I could achieve if I put my mind to it. The other person who had a tremendous influence on me as I was growing up was the man she eventually married, who became my stepfather after I left for college. But he was there for a number of years beforehand, and he was very demanding and he was very tough. But in setting those high standards for me, I now realize that even though I had complained at the time, he gave me an incredible gift, because he taught me to be prepared, he taught me to know the facts, and he most importantly taught me how to fight back. And that's made me the fighter I am today. I worked my way through high school and college, and I took out loans, and I went to the University of Pennsylvania, and I got my master's degree in social work, because social work and social conscience is something that was a theme in my family the entire time. When I graduated, I then started my career in women's health care. And this is very important to me now because of what's going on in DC and what we see at the federal level. I came up at a time, and some of the women of my age cohort here will remember the Boston Women's Health Collective and Our Bodies Ourselves, and it was the first time that women were starting to get control over their reproductive lives, which makes it so incredibly hard. I mean, I have goosebumps when I say this, to watch what they are doing to women in Washington, D.C., and the federal government with this health care bill. We fought for those rights, we marched for those rights, and they have no right to take them away. Woo! After a number of years working on behalf of women's causes, I went to work in a large national business management and consulting firm. I started as a junior analyst in a windowless room, and I worked my way up to senior partner. When I talk about my business experience, what I mean is I know what it means to manage a payroll. I know what it means to work in a business. I know what it means to advise other businesses how to grow their business. I've been there. I've done that. And I almost think that sometimes what's lacking in Sacramento is a real understanding of what it means to be in business and to face all the challenges that business owners face. Woo! Well, I actually think everyone who's in Sacramento should run a business for at least a year, so they get it, okay? Eventually I decided, after 14 years doing that, and I decided that I was going to leave that career and I was going to devote myself to making our communities safer and healthier and to protect the environment that we all live in. I founded my own nonprofit, which is called the California Coastal Protection Network. And I think I'm doing it justice when I say that this organization is considered to be one of the top, if not the top, coastal advocacy organization in this state today. Closer to home, I've worked, and what I do, I operate very differently than other environmental organizations. I work with communities up and down the state to stop destructive projects that the communities do not want. So I work from Eureka to San Diego, and I work with communities, so I know how to do that. Then, closer to home, I was Susan's planning commissioner, and I think when I first got appointed to the planning commission, everybody said, "Oh my God, it's an environmentalist. What will happen to us?" But I think through my tenure on the commission, I think Michael, he would second this, I developed a reputation for being very fair, for listening to all sides, and making really balanced decisions about development that would not destroy what we love here in Santa Barbara and what we want to preserve, but would also keep pace with the community and allow housing that would be affordable for people who live and work here. The next thing I want to kind of switch to here is when the thing that you talk about with the brass backbone, I can't tell you how important that is. And you don't see a lot of it in Sacramento. I mean, I think Sheila was an extraordinary example. But what term limits has done to the people in Sacramento is bring us people who have less experience now, who when they get into office, all they care about is where they're going to end up next. What office can I run for next? And all their decisions are filtered through that. I can tell you that that's not why I want to go to Sacramento. I'm not looking to move up to a higher political office. At 58 years of age, I'm looking to do the right thing for the people of California. Brass backbone. A lot of people say, but can you stand up to the special interests? And believe me, there are real special interests out there because I've gone up against them. And I want to give you 3 clear examples where I have done that and I have prevailed. The first one was, as Susan said, the LNG terminal. The governor wanted to build a massive floating liquefied natural gas terminal off the coast of Ventura and Oxnard. I was told that this was a battle I could not win. It took me 4.5 years. I had to raise $1 million to do it, but I won. As soon as I finished that fight, I took on the toll road fight in San Onofre State Park.
Yes.
The governor, again, and you can guess I'm not the most popular person in the governor's office, wanted to put a massive 6 to 8 lane toll road through one of our most treasured coastal parks, Santa Onofre, which is the birthplace of surfing in California. It's the home to trestles. It has Native American religious sites. But this was what he wanted. Well, we said we don't think that's a good idea. So I took on the campaign. We defeated that project at the Coastal Commission. Peter could talk to that. It was an extraordinary hearing. I think we had 6,000 people there. It was amazing. So that was the second time I took him on, and I won. But I didn't stop there. For the last 6 months, I have been fighting this governor over his efforts to approve a controversial oil drilling deal right off the Santa Barbara coast, the first new offshore oil lease in 40 years. And he didn't get his way at the State Lands Commission because the Attorney General and the State Lands Legal Counsel and the commissioners themselves denied the project. What the governor decided to do was try and push it through in the budget, in the dark of night. That's not the way you do business. So for the last 6 months, I've been leading a coalition of over 100 groups to stop the governor from approving this sweetheart confidential deal for this oil company in the budget. And we prevailed, but we didn't prevail until the last night of session, till an hour before it was over, all right? So I have taken him on 3 times, and I have won 3 times. So.